And we are live. Number 10, building your online business. Number 10, deep dive into product today. April, you're not in your normal location.
No, and I'm sorry, friends, that I'm so dark. I have visitors coming, and they're coming earlier because of storms. So I actually could turn my computer, but you'd be looking at all my cleaning products.
We're not going to hear Kevin talking today. You're all by yourself.
I'm all by myself.
Yeah, a little bit of solitude for April. So welcome everybody, one and all. Today's an interesting topic. Product is one that ultimately this is what we're here to do, right? We're to create a product, and everything else that we do, everything else that we've done up to now, all the other three pillars is designed to make this product successful. So that's going to be it's a bit of a different lift today. You'll see the video today is produced slightly differently here in the McDotto household. Of course, our new puppy is there's two adults and one puppy, and guess what's the most important member of our community right now is the puppy. So I actually recorded downstairs for the first time.
I'm not sure that changes over their lifespan.
Sorry?
I said, I'm not sure that actually changes over their lifespan.
Yeah. Well, I added up, I did an accounting of the amount of time that I lose in the day with the puppy. And that's about 2.5 or 3 hours. I mean, you take her for 4 walks of 45 minutes each, and it's not really a walk. It's a stand while she rolls around and chews on pine cones until she decides it's time to poop and pee. And then you can bring her back in. But it's like, it's nice thinking time.
Yeah.
But she keeps turning around and attacking my leg, like biting on my pad, because she's all teeth. But that's it. That's my complaint. I guess there are worse things in life than trying to take care of a new little puppy. It's amazing. 8 weeks old. You think about it. How we survived as human beings in this world, in this planet. Because at 8 weeks, a baby is useless. It can't do anything. Dogs are pretty capable at 8 weeks. They can do quite a bit.
That's true.
Yeah. They can be really irritating. Well, you still can human babies, I guess. But, all right. So now, before we go, I got a question for you. I'll let more people get in the room. In my scheduling, I didn't pay super close attention to the liturgical calendar when I was putting together our schedule for the boot camp, and I paid absolutely no attention to the fact that it's Easter, and Easter Monday for a lot of people is an important holiday, and we are scheduled to go live on Easter Monday, this coming Monday. So we don't have the functionality to be able to do a poll in the live stream, but I'm wondering if in comments if you can tell me either thumbs up or yes, you still want to do the normal session on Monday, or you'd prefer that it was delayed. Regardless, either way, you'll still get access to it because, of course, they're being recorded. But I'd love to know from you whether or not you plan to attend live on Monday, or if it's something you're going to watch as a recording. So just let me know. It's just so we just my inclination is we'll probably be going live, but yeah, already people are saying works for me. Yes, people want to do it, so it's not really important that you're all at Monday Mass, Easter Mass. Being raised Catholic, of course,
What's so funny because you didn't. So Good Friday is a Mass day too.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. But I'm a backslidden Catholic, so I'm just,
You're not honoring Lent? No,
for me, I carry nothing. I carry nothing from my religion except guilt. They've taught me how to feel guilty about everything. So yes, Friday was even a bigger deal, I guess. But I thought of Easter Monday because is Friday a holiday? But Easter Monday is a holiday. But Friday's not a holiday, is it?
No. So for us, we have kids have Good Friday off, but Monday, unless they're like Wyatt when he was in Catholic school, I had it, but my kids in public school did not have Easter Monday.
Yeah. I went to Catholic boys' school my whole career. Our Lady of the Bleeding Knuckles was the school that I went to, and I had the nuns as kids, as a little kid, and then I had the Christian Brothers of Ireland. Not Ireland's best export, I got to tell you that right now, with the brothers, but they taught us in school, and corporal punishment was still a thing. I'm old enough that we got whacked around a lot by the brothers. So, anyways, good times, good memories. There's a session 4. Yeah. So people are asking if it's tomorrow. Yeah. So we're going to keep going. So although the backslidden Catholics, we can feel guilty about doing work on Good Friday and Easter Monday, but we're going to do it. We're going for it. We are going for it. Good. And if you have to miss it, it'll all be in replay. So let's get into the topic today. Product. This was a tough one to put together the training for because there's so many different aspects of building a product. So I take us down one path that hopefully you can that you're going to be able to extrapolate from. And obviously, people that are building a physical product, there's a whole different set of criteria that you're going to have to consider. And we're not really experts on that side of it. We'll help you market the product, but not design the product. But when we're talking about knowledge products, we can be of significant help. And for the service industry, I think we kind of have a middle of the road value as far as what we bring to the table. Because again, the challenges you face are very unique. But I think it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to what the community says and what your interaction is as we go through product. So as I say, the video is slightly differently recorded. Just for those of you that are into technology, I'm not using my normal studio setup. I'm just using my notebook. I've got one of the new MacBook Pros, the kind of high-end new MacBooks, but I just use the native tools that are in it to record the tutorial. And so you'll see a slight difference in quality, but hopefully it's still more than acceptable. So April, you ready? Shall we dive into it?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Let's get going. So we'll see you on the other side of our product video. A little bit of a different physical setup for today's tutorial. I'm sitting down on my couch and I just have my notebook in my lap and I'm just using the web camera's notebook, the web camera in the notebook and the microphones in the notebook because my puppy is not to be trusted. We're at a delicate stage in her development, and I don't want to leave her alone right now. And this is the time slot that I carved out in order for me to record this tutorial. So we are stuck down here. She might editorialize partway through the presentation today. We will see. So I'm not as much video. I'll take my video off, and we'll just do this mainly as a voiceover today. As we dive into the world, the product, which is the fourth pillar of our online business, our 10th lesson in building your online business, but the fourth of our pillars. And one which I believe most of you probably stress about a little bit. I know I stress the decision to actually build and offer a product of what we're going to sell is such a huge decision in the entire process of building your online business. And much of our success or failure is, of course, attached to that product. But recognize that for a lot of the different products that we're going to be creating, we do have the opportunity to pivot and to shift emphasis as we go along. With the obvious caveat being, if you're building a physical product, we have to be able to sell that physical product. But let's look at how the online business world fits in how we'll talk about today mainly is how to decide how to narrow down the ideas and the opportunities you have to determine a direction you should be heading to create a product for sales, for those of you who have not yet created one. So let's just take a step back and recognize that everything that we've done now, all of the three pillars, the deep dives that we've done up until this point, are all in service of this product. The platform that we've created, establishing our authority with the community. The reason we want to establish authority is we want to ultimately be delivering a product. So it reflects, obviously, it's tied intimately to the product that we create. Now, the platform can also serve as a bellwether so that you can measure the interest with your community of any product that you're creating. It can also be a terrific asset in the design of the product, understanding what the challenges are and what the opportunities are and what your community wants. So we will be referring back to our platform often and using our platform in order to help us craft a better and more successful product. The processes. Yesterday's conversation, or 2 days ago, I guess, about all of the processes that we put in place, be it the sales tools that manage the actual transaction of selling and purchasing products, the management platform, if you have a user community, if you have a customer list, as well as being able to reach out to them, the systems that are in place in order to sell and to market to them, and finally to support them, supporting the sales, supporting your customers. All of those processes, once again, are going to be reflected in the product that you create. Now, as you look at the products that you're going to be creating, you want to recognize the entire life cycle of that product. From the time that we start to market it and promote it, How easy is that going to be? Do we have a clearly defined path to market? Does our platform support the sales of a product of the sort that we are talking about or that we were considering creating? Additionally, what about the process that's in place? If you don't really want to have day-to-day management of an online community, you shouldn't be looking at doing a membership site. So recognizing that the tools you have in place and the processes that you have in place have to be there and have to be able to maintain and serve the product and the customers that you're considering sell or that you're going to be trying to sell to. So all of the pieces, a reality check of the other pieces that we have of the puzzle is important to constantly keep in mind. As far as the promotion goes, obviously, if you're going to be launching a product, you're going to be needing to do all of the different advertising, and you're going to have to know that your platform has provided a base community that you can market to, and that you've got the ability and you've got the systems in place to do all of the promotion for the product. The content creation of the product, of course, is part of the systems that you have to have in place. But all of this is leveraged and is focused on the delivery of the product that we're going to create. Now, why is it important for me to return to this and to talk about all of these different pieces? It's important because as you're designing your product, you have many options. Every step you take towards actually building a product, you're going to be narrowing your options. You're going to be narrowing the direction you can go, and you're going to be reducing the amount of flexibility you have as you walk through the process. So making sure that all of your physical pieces are there, all of the other supporting parts of your business are in place, and you understand the role that they are going to play in the delivery of your product, that is something that you should be returning to often. So now let's talk about the creation of an actual product. How are we going to, I shouldn't say the creation, but the decision of what it is we're going to create. This to me is one of the most exciting parts of this business, where we envision the service, the product that we are going to sell to our customer. And we start to think about how much we're going to charge for it and how we're going to be delivering it and what it's going to look like and what it's going to do for our community. Very exciting stuff. So we'll break it down into our three different online business categories: product, service, and knowledge. Now, I have a lot more, I'm much better versed in the knowledge aspect, of course, because I've developed a lot of knowledge products. I haven't done very many service products, and I've done no physical products. So recognize that I'm not an expert on all of these topics. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and talk about kind of the thought process going through and making sure that we have the support pieces in place. And also, I'm going to try and identify what I think the biggest challenges are creating product in each space. And we'll start with just physical products. And of course, I've never built a physical product, so I can only imagine what the challenges are going through the process. But I have to think that your biggest challenge is dealing with the lead time and putting all of the physical pieces in place for actually manufacturing the product. And that's exacerbated today because of the supply chain issues that we have, etc. So if you've got the wherewithal and the functionality to be able to create a physical product to sell, well then, I mean, there's not a big decision-making process to go through right now in designing and delivering that product. The skills that you bring to the table already in product design, in sourcing and manufacturing, in logistics as far as delivery, those are all skills that you're bringing into the online business world. And all of the other areas of the platform that we've talked about, that's the new stuff, and that's how you're going to actually deliver the product. So if you are designing a physical product, I don't have a lot to offer you as far as deciding what product you're going to sell, other than take advantage of your platform to research to make sure that there's a marketplace out there for the product that you're going to sell. Moving on to the service, I see a lot of subtleties in the service industry, and a lot of challenges for our community. I understand the appeal of building an online business if you're in the service, if your market is service, because it reaches you to a larger assortment of customers. It allows you to expand. But the challenge that you have, as far as I can tell, the number one overarching challenge is the inventory you have. If you think about your inventory, by what I mean is how many hours do you have in the day to serve customers? And of course, there is you'll be able to go through a bit of a balancing act where you say, if I can provide higher level service, higher quality, higher value services, I can charge more. So you can increase your income, but you can't increase the number of hours in a day. So your inventory of hours that you have to spend on with any one client in any one project is limited, and that to me is the biggest challenge: is the limited bandwidth that you have if you're building a service product. So I think you need to take into account as you're looking at the services that you can offer. I believe that you have to look at systems and putting procedures in place that either allow you to not do any of the lower value work that that doesn't charge as much as your premium work. Obviously, the more time that you can spend at your highest billable hours or the highest income level that you can charge a customer is what you're going to want to seek. So as you build your offering, as you build your service product offering, there are two criteria or two paths that you can follow, I think. One is to push away all of the work that's quote unquote beneath you. Anything that isn't going to pay you a premium, then don't offer those services. Even if your clients need those services, if you offer those services, you're going to be constantly being pulled back into the quagmire of lower income. And that is not our goal. Our goal is to make you as profitable and successful as possible. The other option is for you to expand your horizons, to expand your offerings by bringing other people to the table. If you've got the skills to manage other subcontractors and you can put a team in place where you are facilitating the delivery of the services, you're billing at your highest level for the work that you do that is most valuable that you can create, and you're backfilling the day-to-day work, the lower I shudder to say the word lower value, but the work that has a lower revenue attached to it. If you can find a third party, a subcontractor, somebody who works for you that can perform those duties, and you can create margin on their work, that's going to be the best model. And I believe that many of you who are in the service space will be looking at that. We'll be looking at expanding your business by bringing other people on and by earning a little bit extra on the margin that they are creating, on the margin of their billing hours. But you're owning the relationship. At the end of the day, in the service business, you better be owning the relationship with the customer who you're talking to. You don't want to be passing, you want all of the work to go through you. You do want to be a gatekeeper to the services that you're offering. You don't want to give anything away for free, because the nature of the people who you hire in order to do the lower price services, they're going to be looking to increase their income as well. So they're going to try, and by just human nature, they're going to often try and capture a higher income by taking away some of the business from you of the higher billing stuff, if you give them the option to bill directly and to have the direct relationship with the customer. So putting a system in place to make sure that you are the gatekeeper in the service industry is a healthy way to approach building your product. Now let's talk about the knowledge business. And I, of course, well, not of course, but I have a lot more to offer as far as if you're in the knowledge business, and the things that you can do and how you can go about crafting and creating your product. For people that are in the knowledge space, building online courses, writing books, anything where we're sharing knowledge, our biggest challenge is feature creep and scope. Because while we're in the process of creating whatever product is that we're creating, we end up adding all sorts of extra baggage to that product. It's, again, human nature. We want to deliver value. We suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome, so we want to blow the socks off of whoever it is that we're presenting our product to or the content to. And so we keep adding and adding and adding and adding to that, to the point that we sometimes never reach completion. We've put so many pieces on that it either becomes too big a beast for us to sell and for us to convey the value of, because there's just so much in there, or we never stop developing new product and we're never satisfied with what we want. So finding a feature lock date where you say, at this point here, this product is ready to sell and I'm ready to move from the development cycle into the sales cycle, that is one of the biggest challenges that knowledge workers have, that people in the knowledge business have. And so recognize that you want to set really defined parameters for what your product is going to deliver and then work to that and not beyond that. It's easy to say, believe me, it's very, very difficult to do. Now, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a process, which I think can be recreated many, many times in the product development cycle for developing any knowledge product. And this is a bit of gold. This is one of the most, and I think the people in the other disciplines can also benefit from this. But we have developed over the maybe 4 or 5 years from now, we've developed a system that I call rapid course development. And it's designed to create content in a very rapid fashion, which has incredibly high value and has the potential for us to turn from free content into paid content as we finish off the cycle. So if you are in the knowledge space, probably the course development process is very similar to any other content creation process for the knowledge space. So this will again have value. So let me take you through the scenario. The scenario is we want to develop a course in as short a period of time as possible that has as much impact, as much value as possible for a small, in kind of a small and contained footprint. This isn't a hero course. This isn't a $2,000 course that is, something like what I'm delivering right now as far as the overall perspective of building an online business. But instead, we're talking about pretty much the same kind of content as we contain in each one of these lessons. A contained piece of content that's valuable that you that you may want to sell. So the process that I go through, and we've done this many, many times in delivering mini courses that ultimately develop into sometimes larger courses, but are attached to revenue properties, is we determine a topic that we want to talk about. Our Foundational Friday features are a prime example of that. So let's say I want to teach you about developing one-page websites. So I create the content, I create a presentation and a training for teaching how to create single-page websites. And that could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 50 minutes, it can be a slideshow, it can be a video, it can be a series of workbooks. It's a small, contained project that's focused on one outcome. Then you take that and you deliver it to an audience. Now, in my cycle, the way that I do it is you deliver it for free for the first time. Is you take it and you deliver it and you get a beta testing group, a group of individuals to participate who are interested in the topic, and you're not charging because you don't want to have to go through all of the effort of the sales process when you're creating a product, when you're creating content. So instead you give it away. So don't worry about the sales perspective and you don't worry about how large audiences, having any sort of critical mass, 20, 30, 40 people taking a course for free, taking a little mini course for free is going to give you the feedback you need as long as they are representative of your target market. So then you deliver the module, you deliver the course for free. In my case, we would do it in a webinar. And while you deliver that course, you of course take questions. So you finish the presentation, you deliver it for free, and then you do a Q&A session at the end. And in the Q&A session, your community will hopefully ask you any questions, filling in the gaps for anything that you left out in the delivery of your content. Now, this is a wonderful chance for a voyage of discovery because the questions that people ask are going to inform you of the value of the product that you've created, of the content you've created, but it's also, as I say, going to show you any gaps you have in what you've presented that your audience identifies. Then what you do is you take a step back and you have made note of all of the questions and you backfill the content into your presentation that has all of the questions that were asked. So you now make it a richer, more full-featured product. You finish that off, and at that point there, you can either go through the cycle again where you deliver it for free again, or at that point there, you can easily start to sell it. Now, here's the cool thing. If you decide that you're going to start selling it, you've got assets in place that you can use for marketing. For example, the group that participated for free, you can reach out to and you can say, can I have a testimonial? Can I have a comment on it so that I can include that in the marketing materials as I start to promote this product? So you've got assets that you wouldn't have if you created the product in a vacuum. You've got feedback from a community that you wouldn't have if you created the product in a vacuum. When we create products in a vacuum, which 99% of us do with all of the books that we write, with the courses that we create, with the presentations that we do, when we create a product in a vacuum, we have all of our personal biases and blinders on to the way that we look at that particular piece of content. But if you're developing a product and you are using your community's assets, you present it to people, you recognize the value that they see in it as they reflect back to you, and they ask you questions which illuminates any issues you have or any shortcomings you have in your course. That, to me, is a path to a really valuable product. It's very approachable as far as a time frame goes. You can do it in a very short period of time, hence the word rapid course development. And you have a product that you can believe in and you have marketing assets for to move ahead. In the product development cycle, if you can take this rapid course development, utilizing, or rapid product development, we don't have to say course, rapid product development, utilize your community and utilize the online tools which we now have. You've got a platform in place already. You're already reaching out and talking to people. All of the other assets that we've built in our online business come into play when we do this. We've got the platform for reaching out to people. We have the process for registering them and for acknowledging their questions and for reaching back out to them later on and asking them for testimonials and for publishing the landing pages and the promotional pieces that we need. And we've got all of the promotional assets as well that we have in the skills that we're developing in order to promote it as a beta launch and later on as a full product launch. Now, this is just one way of approaching the development and the creation of a product, but it is the way that I'm most versed with, and it is a way that works. You can take this idea and riff off of this idea and modify it to suit your needs, but I'm going to return to the core principles in developing a product that I believe I kind of espouse in this rapid course development concept. One is limited scope. You determine exactly what it is you want to teach. You make sure you can teach it, and you create content that's defined and has walls around it, so that you don't have feature and information creep, so that you can actually deliver a product. And then you deliver it, which gives you the practice of seeing it land with an audience. You get the experience of presenting it for the first time yourself. When you record it the second time, after you've been through it once, or when you present it the second time, it's so much better than the first time. You've really learned from the first presentation, so you've had kind of a dress rehearsal and you're ready for prime time when it's all done. It's very low cost to produce. It does take you some time, but you haven't spent a lot of money on resources. And it's infinitely scalable. You've created a piece of content which you've now validated and verified that you can start to charge for. And it is, if it's one piece of a larger piece of content, you're already making money from the very first module or the very first piece of content. And if you see it being part of a bigger course, then you repeat this cycle over and over again for each of the different main topic areas within your course. And by the time you're finished and you have 4 or 5 of these rapidly developed courses, that if they are cohesive and you can combine them together, you then potentially have a hero product. You have a product that you don't have to charge $79 or $59 or $99 or $199 for, but indeed you've probably got enough depth there that you can start to look at the higher end of the course in the community delivery scales. So you can be looking at the $699, $999, $1,099 or $1,999 price range. So taking these steps and going through this cycle, I believe, is a recreatable and flexible system that we can apply in so many areas. So, deciding what product you're going to deliver, that process is going to come from conversations with your platform and recognizing the assets that you bring to the table. Now you can not only envision what your product looks like and how it's going to be supported by your back end, but you've now been exposed to an idea for the creation of your product, for actually taking your idea and taking it through from seed to germination to bearing fruit. That's all the process that I hope that I've illustrated to you today. So with that, I know there's going to be lots of questions. Let's get into it. All righty then. There we go. Okay, folks, it doesn't happen often, but occasionally we have to ban somebody from the group, and I don't appreciate the comments, what I consider to be racially motivated comments. So Dan Light is no longer part of the group. I apologize for those that may have been offended by it. And if anybody agrees with him, you can remove yourself from the group and save me the trouble in the future. So apologies for that. It upsets me. It doesn't happen very often, but I don't like having to do that. I think we're more mature than that. Well, April, product.
Alrighty. So let's see.
The first one is a long question from, let's put it, oh, sorry. Oh, I unstarted.
All right. So Karen is saying, I bought several software app programs to work with, but seems like they are upgraded routinely and often all in the first quarter of the year. I end up spending time trying to relearn what I've been using because they change it just enough. Any suggestions to keep a flow of what happens?
Yeah, the staying on top of your tools is just an ongoing process. Yeah, I think as your business grows, you're going to determine what you're good at and what you can spend a lot of what you should be spending time on, and what you are not good at and what you should be having others. Here's my thought on overall tools for content creators of the sort that we are, is I believe that when you first set up any of the tools, any of the systems, you have to do it yourself. You have to be involved in the process. I don't care if it's putting together your website, it's putting together your CRM and your email lists. Ultimately, you can have somebody else do that job for you. You can hire somebody to do it. In many cases, we should be doing that. But you have to know how it fits, what the capabilities of the system are, so that you aren't wondering. As you're building out your system, as you're, say, planning a product launch, like we just talked about, with where you might be using a webinar, sending out a series of emails, doing all of that. As you're going through that process, as you want to go through that process, you want to know what the capabilities of the tools you have are, at least at the baseline, so that you're not wondering, oh, can I do this? And not having expectations that you can do something that you indeed can't do. So it's important for you at the beginning to have a good working knowledge of each tool. But then if it becomes problematic and it becomes something that is a time vampire and you shouldn't be spending time with, then you can look at passing it off. But it's a fool's dream to think that the companies that we are using their tools are going to stop developing those tools and stop changing them when we subscribe, because they're in a competitive nature, and other companies are always trying to one up them and add more features and create more value and more benefits and to own more market share. So we're always going to have we're in a constant state of learning with every product that we deal with. And that goes down to a simple product as Gmail. They keep changing a simple. Thank God for me because that's job security for somebody like me. So so there we go.
Bill, affiliate biz of a product. How does this tie into product?
Say it again. Let me just pull it up.
So affiliate biz.
Yeah.
So you're talking affiliates, right? Of a product. How does this tie into product?
So as you're creating your product, when I'm talking about how you should be thinking about the kind of the full aspects of the product you're developing, is one of the marketing aspects that you believe will be beneficial is including the ability for others to rep your product and to generate some income from it. Then you're going to want to build in an affiliate. You're going to want to design your product with affiliates in mind. So what does that look like? What could that look like? Well, that could look like, if you are doing a knowledge product, as you design your webinars to introduce the product, if you design the webinar so that it's something that you can easily put into somebody else's platform, that somebody else can invite you in and you can present that content to their community. Or if you're going to be creating video assets, are you going to create video assets that are easily shared by others, that have easy access for others? Of course, technically speaking, you're going to want to make sure that you have the tools in place to actually manage an affiliate program, and that's a lot of work. We think we'll just do affiliates. There's a lot of plumbing. There's a lot of accounting that goes into running an affiliate program. So that's something that I would caution you to, really do your research before. But it definitely, if you have a product has broad appeal and you are willing to build the support infrastructure, that is a very compelling idea. It's a great way to generate great additional income.
All right. Let's see. Sorry,
Bill is asking
back.
Sorry, I already did that.
So for webinars, is your app of choice Demio?
We use Demio. We've used many different webinar packages, and Demio is the one that we're currently using, and it serves all of our needs really well. If I was to start again, I like the ones that I really like, as well as Demio, that I would encourage people to consider. Is Demio does a very classic version of webinars with registration and how it manages the process. A kind of more modern take with a far more social media take on webinars is Crowdcast, where instead of having people subscribe, which they can, or sign up for your mail list, which they can, you can also have a subscription feed where it treats it much more like a Facebook, where they're being notified, and they also have some additional comments features. For example, in Crowdcast, people can seed as soon as they sign up for the webinar, they can start asking questions of the host, so that the host, when they start the webinar, already has a bank of questions inserted already, and people can vote up or down questions and things like that. So you got kind of that social interaction, a little more modern feeling. Both work great. The other tool that I really like is one called Big Marker, which again, it does a lot more social marketing around the webinars. They'll all work great though. You could build a solid business just using the most pedestrian of webinar packages like a Zoom. So again, the key is to choose the one that's the right price point for you. We find Demio pretty solid. Technically, they do have occasional issues, but they tend to catch up pretty quickly, and they have good support. So it's one that we're happy to use. I struggle with recommending one platform over the other with webinars because I see lots of benefit in many of them.
I'm thinking. Oh, you missed one.
Okay.
So I'm thinking free webinar is great. How soon would you suggest that you have the next offer ready so you can build on momentum of interest?
So you think a free webinar? Say again.
So it's right above the comment that you just.
Oh no, I'm in the starred one, so I don't see it.
You started. Okay. I'm thinking free webinar is great. How soon would you suggest that you have the next offer ready so you can build on momentum of interest?
I think it's right away. If you're doing the kind of the development cycle that I talked about, this rapid course development, you could be talking about a week or 2 weeks as you take the questions and ingest them and put them into the content and then send it out. But if you're doing a free webinar, which is a lead magnet, which is leading into an actual product launch, you want the next step of the process ready immediately. Whether it's downloading a trial version or the first lesson of a course if you're delivering it, but you want that to go out with the replay. Typically speaking, when we deliver a free webinar, at least our method is we deliver the free content, and then we don't try and do too hard an ask during the webinar itself, because you're dealing with questions and answers, and it just gets kind of distasteful to be really pitching during a webinar. But then we leave a lot of that heavy lifting to the email sequence, which follows up. So if we're actually selling a product out of a webinar, we will have all of that queued up, and that email sequence will start immediately after the webinar. And what you do to encourage the first opening the first emails where the solid offer is a really important part of the process. So we try and deliver some value into that first email, such as the resources. We offer a page of resources that's similar to what we do here in our daily webinars here, or daily trainings here. But we want to give people a compelling reason to open that email so that they see the offer. They get the value that they're looking for in opening the email, but they see the offer come through as well. So that's that.
Am I right that this beta testers are not our final customer? They only finish the product.
In my experience, the beta testers will often become the customers. They will often purchase it as well. Because don't forget that when they've gone through it, they might want to be able to get back into it again and again, or the extra value that you add in answering all the questions beefs up the value of the product. They aren't your target. It's not make or break for success of the product, but they are. I treat them as kind of the development cycle. So we don't really sell to them too aggressively, but you can. But they are representative of who your final customers will be. Your final customers will have a lot in common with all of them.
Let's see. Could you show me that okay, so this Stuart's looking for some help with the mind map from promotion.
Oh, okay. It's in the shared note. It's in the shared note.
Regarding deciding on my product, my passion product would be composing music for videos. How would I determine if there's a market or compile a beta group?
That's a good. So
wouldn't you do some research and kind of start looking to see if other people are doing it?
Well, I mean, we know there's a market for music. We know there's a market for music, for videos. If that's your passion, I'm not sure that you need to necessarily carve out your own piece of the puzzle. Before I started to try and build my own catalog that I sell myself and take on all of the marketing responsibilities, I would look at sites like Epidemic Sound, which act as a clearinghouse for composers. And so if you go to an Epidemic Sound, there's a variety of different composers there. Now, each of the composers has kind of their own area, but if people sign up for Epidemic Sound, then the composers all generate income. The Epidemic then pays through to the composer of the music and the rights holder of the music. Unless you're doing custom work where somebody hires you to write a theme song for their content, and you're doing that kind of custom development. If you're doing licensed work, that's going to be, I think, a far less. There's going to be far less friction getting your product to market, because building a following of people that you're going to be able to actually sell your catalog to, I think, is going to be a real challenge to build it up, because you're up against services that Epidemic Sound is just one. There's like 5 or 6 I shared yesterday. The ones that I shared in Vado Market, they've got a whole music catalog as well. So you can look into these different clearinghouses and look at licensing with them, and then you're working on what your passion is, which is the composing of music. Unless your passion is actually doing social media marketing, in which case I think we could turn you into a pragmatist and find an easier path to market. I hope that I haven't kind of sprayed water on your idea. The caveat there is, if you have contacts and you have content creators who are looking for bespoke music, stuff that you specifically designed for their project, that is very much a service thing. And at that point there, and so it is LinkedIn is your network of choice there as you reach out to and you talk to individuals and you create that content. You could also end up doing a mix, but I would definitely look into the music licensing services, and I suspect that you could do very well through them.
You could present a slide. So that's actually not a question. You to this question. Okay. So Nicole's saying you could present it. All right. Glenn is saying, if you're doing video tutorials courses similar to what you're doing, what are the most crucial tools to invest in initially? Baseline minimum to get started and be able to produce a quality product.
So he wants to know which video tools I think are essential.
To invest in for video tutorials and courses.
Okay, I see it here. I got the question. Okay, so the style of video that we produce here is called a screencast. So if you're in the Mac, you have a choice between a tool called ScreenFlow and a tool called Camtasia, which is the one that I use. But we have a business relationship with Camtasia. with the folks at TechSmith that make Camtasia. If you're in Windows, you're limited. Your choice is limited pretty much to Camtasia for screencasting, although you can use lower end products like ScreenFlow-O-Matic, and there's a few other lower end ones. But I think it's well worth getting high quality screencasting tools because that's the ultimate product that you're delivering. So those are the tools that I think in the skill that's most important. Camtasia and ScreenFlow are phenomenal video editing applications. You can't do some of the things that you could do in a Final Cut or in a true video editing application, but you can do other things that they don't do as far as turning the screen into a character that you're doing camera moves on and that you're including in creating tutorial content. So that would be the number one tool. The second tool that I would invest in is a graphics creation tool like Canva, so that I can create custom elements for my screencasts. For my tutorials. Those would be the two most important as far as video tutorials. Delivering the content later on, you're going to be looking at a Kajabi or a Thinkific or a platform where you can deliver the content and you can serve to your students. But for the actual course creation and content creation of videos, you can't do better than a tool like Camtasia or ScreenFlow, depending on which one you're in. And when I track my time that I spend in different applications. I spend more time in Camtasia than any application on my computer. I'm always making videos. And I love it. I love it.
When we talk about a webinar, this is a live event, right? So presenting and doing the FAQs is surely hard as a one-man show. Better to have a wingman as backup, or could this be done asynchronous, like FAQs in Slack?
So we've got a free tutorial called The Anatomy of a Successful Webinar, Heiko. I'm going to point you towards that. Maybe April can, we can find it, we can send it out to you. It's in the Dottotech. It's a list builder for us. We give it away for free, but I walk through the process of what it takes to do a successful webinar. And yes, I believe that it's important to have a producer, somebody like an April, who's helping manage the flow of people, managing the content and managing the community, and kind of acting as a point guard for the questions so that the content expert can stay on point and concentrate. I mean, you can see that I've been more distracted today because we had to deal with that social issue than I would normally be if I didn't have Bob and April helping to take care of that. It would have been even worse. So it's always great to have somebody who is taking the pressure off you as far as, somebody's not getting proper sound and they have a question or they're irritated about something, filtering and blocking the content creator, the content presenter, the content expert from those sorts of issues. So yes. But that Anatomy of a Successful Webinar, terrific. I think it's a terrific training.
Okay, so let's see. Sorry, I was trying to get the link.
Merlin's asking,
what do you think of
Kajabi? Is that the one?
Yep.
Merlin and I go way back. Merlin is a internet security expert that helps keep kids safe online. And back in the day, we did a project. I think Merlin helped us on the project, or she was a resource that we used, where we did Cyber Safe with Steve Dotto, where we taught a whole bunch of parents here in BC how to keep their kids safe online back in the day. So good to see you back in here, Merlin. I think Kajabi is terrific for course hosting. It is an all-in-one solution, and they try and be all things to you. So if you choose a Kajabi, you typically aren't going to be getting. You're going to be able to bypass some of the other tools, but it also means you are stuck within the Kajabi system. That it's very difficult for you to add functionality that Kajabi doesn't have. So as a way of example, in our mastermind group, some of our community members there use Kajabi. And so I hear about it a lot from them. One of them is trying to set up his website. He's got a fairly popular website where he wants to be running ads on his website, just AdSense ads, Google ads, ones that you would typically see in the sidebar. And they're having a lot of trouble integrating that with Kajabi, and they're having trouble working their way through the system. So there might be some things that you face that end up being a challenge, whereas if you were in another platform, you'd have a little bit more flexibility. But if you told me that for your business, you're planning on hosting your content in Kajabi, would I say it's a bad idea? Absolutely not. I'd say it's a great idea. It's a terrific tool. And so if it's one that you like the feature mix of, I say go for it.
Okay, so...
And I say that costing me money, because if you sign up for Thinkific, I make money. But I'm happy for you to use Kajabi.
If you host on your own WordPress website, doesn't that allow for better control of your courses than on other platforms like MemberPress, Lifter, LMS, LearnDash?
Yes. Okay. So if you host, if you have the technical capacity to deal with all of the different idiosyncrasies of WordPress, yes. Our experience, and April will back this up, is if you are managing your own WordPress website and your own WordPress membership site, you spend pretty much as much time administering your users as you do creating new content, because there's always problems with WordPress. You're always got new plugins. There's always people having issues logging in. There's all sorts of problems that are now your responsibility, that is lifted off your hands by using an LMS. So if you are comfortable with that additional responsibility and the technical plumbing that it takes to put a MemberPress into a WordPress website, you go for it. It's not, I can't stay far enough away from that. It's not.
I would read the reviews.
Sorry?
I said I would read the reviews before you jump in and see what people are saying about it, because I mean, we haven't used one in a few years, but there was a lot of short codes and a lot of error issues that kept continuing happening. So I would definitely read the reviews before you jump in and see from non-technical people and see what they say. That's usually a good indication. If you have an existing website on a category and are switching to a very different topic, would you recommend a new direct link page on it or create a totally different website?
Totally different website. Yeah, you've confused Google. You know, they've already started to track you for this, unless it's related. If it's related, you could divert slightly, but if it's a totally different thing, I would say start fresh. April, do you agree?
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Howard's asking if it's okay to download the daily Evernote resources to their personal.
Oh yeah, that's the whole idea. You don't need to do it in Evernote, but if you want it if you do take advantage of the fact that you can download the notes in Evernote, you've got like a little textbook at the end of all of the information, or a manual of all of the information that we've shared in Evernote of each of these modules. So that's why we designed it that way. It's designed for you to download to use.
Avram's asking, since we're talking about tools, please comment on description. I think it's Descriptor, isn't it? It's the transcription service.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
It's called Descript. Descript is an amazing tool. I purchase it, I use it. So what Descript does is it takes an audio or a video file and it transcribes it. And in the transcription, you then have the ability inside of Descript to take that and to edit it based on the copy. So highlight text, delete the text, and it will then delete the audio that's attached to it. So you can do gross editing of an audio file based on the transcript. It's a brilliant concept, and it works very well, not for highly polished content, but for kind of, you know, we'll say, like I wouldn't use it for my YouTube video to edit the audio of my YouTube video. I want far more granular control. But for a lot of, but I would be happily use it, say, for a tutorial that we deliver here inside of the community for kind of limited use, limited focus use. The other thing that Descript does is it does a great job of allowing us to, it does something they call fancy captions, where it will do closed captioning of your video, and you can export it and you can position the captions where you may. And I use that a lot for some of our social marketing tools. I'll create, I just created an Instagram story for a project that we're doing with Slack, and all of the titling was done using Descript. It's a very cool tool. It competes with a tool that inside of the TechSmith family, but the TechSmith tool only does audio, whereas Descript will do audio and video. So it's I like it. It's a fun one. We should do a demo on it soon. I should do a demo on it.
I have a question about my brands, but it's related to products. I've created a brand for any products that I sell under a brand I call Design 9. But then I have subcategories like Michigan related apparel, etc. Should I focus overall on the brand or individual subcategory brands in my promotion?
I don't know, but I suspect that in your promotions, you're better off being more granular and concentrating on your individual products that you actually have a chance to sell people, as opposed to elevating the overall brand. Unless you're looking for unless you're looking for partners to work with you. If you're actually looking for sales, and I would be showcasing, if it's showcasing the actual products that you have for sale. So niche down, would be my opinion there.
Great. So just, can you confirm that ScreenFlow is only for Macs, correct?
Yes, ScreenFlow is only Mac users. Camtasia is for both. And yeah, and for those of you that are interested in joining our Facebook and interested in joining the Gray Wave community afterwards, next year we're going to be doing one of our special interest groups is going to be doing a training on using screencasting using Camtasia. So it's going to be ingrained right into our content mix for next year. It's that important. So it's a great tool. And I use ScreenFlow for years. If you are in the Mac, it's either one works well.
What do you think about Wix for website?
So there used to be a little bit of there was a bias against tools like Wix, because it was thought that Google didn't properly crawl and properly return Wix sites in search. I don't think that that's the case. Certainly, the people at Wix and the other these web services indicate in all of their documentation that is not the case. I think it's great for simple websites. I don't think it's advanced enough for memberships or learning management tools. I think for that you have to look at a Thinkific, a Teachable, a Kajabi, or even perhaps using Thrivecart, which has some of that functionality built in. But no, I wouldn't use it for memberships. I would use it for simple websites. Nothing too elaborate, but up to maybe 8, 10, 15 page websites. I think Wix would be fine. April, you got some thoughts on that too?
No, I think you did a good job. I think the big thing when you're looking at Wix is the paid version is going to give you much more benefit. But I think it's a great tool, especially if you are looking for something where it's easy to use and you don't have a big budget. That's the other thing too. So a lot of times people don't have a huge budget up front to build a WordPress website. Yeah.
Heiko, my affiliate links for my webinar tool for Demio, I'll get April can type it in, but it's dott.to/Demio. And so our affiliate links are all tied to those short codes. So that's super. And by the way, for anybody that's interested in Camtasia, our affiliate link for Camtasia is dott.to/Camtasia. So we make it easy. We try and make it easy. Rev.com does it as well. Rev does a good job of transcription, but Rev doesn't give you the editing options that Descript does. So that's the big difference there. But Rev has a beautiful function that it will take your file and it will add your transcription and add your closed captioning to your YouTube files on the fly. So you don't have to do that. So there's good services. There's good alternate transcription services.
That looks like it's a wrap.
Good stuff. Well, thank you one and all. So tomorrow it's Q&A and working on your mind map and anything that's happened in the last 2 weeks that you want clarification on. And so there's no official video for me to record for tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to a day off. Got to take the puppy for a walk now. Thank you, April. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you one and all for your patience and for your just great questions and input and the way that you support each other. I appreciate it. So with that, I am going to say thanks so much, and we will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have fun storming a castle.